Hey everybody, I'm John and this is Blind Whiskey Reviews. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. Today we've got a very special video voted on by you to do 4 side-by-side high-proof whiskeys. If you haven't already seen it, I did a poll in my Booker's review, it's like 3 videos back maybe, to ask you guys which high-proof whiskeys you'd like to see me do side-by-side to test my skills on blind tasting and see if I can tell you which one's which. So, overwhelmingly, Elijah Craig and Stagg Jr. took the pack, followed up by Knob Creek Single Barrel and Old Forester 1920. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I do all blind reviews of bottles. My wife pours the whiskey, I taste it, tell you what I think about it, give it a rating, and reveal the whiskey after that. So this is going to be a side-by-side. I'm going to see which ones I can pick out. If I have to guess, I'm going to you guys gave me a hard go on this one. These 3 whiskeys are in the same vein and might be a little bit tougher to pick out. Knob Creek has some similar characters, but I remember having a very unique woody character to it because it has a little bit of age on it, kind of along the lines of Elijah Craig. I believe this is a 13-year-old. This is a 12. So these guys hopefully will be easier for me to kind of differentiate from the other ones, but who knows? I'll give it my best and we'll see how it goes. So without further ado, let's get going. Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is big brown sugar caramel. A little bit of alcohol on it. Touch of dark fruit, but really overwhelmed by that brown sugar and caramel character. There's some woodiness there. Okay. Get a sip of water here. Go to number 2. This one's very nutty, very woody. If I have to guess just on the nose, I'm saying number 2 is Knob Creek. There's a big wood character, some brown sugar, some caramel, and a nutty character that's very Jim Beam-like. A little bit of dark fruits on the palate as well, some cherry. Definitely has that peanut butter character to it. All right, let me get some water. We'll move on to number 3. Kind of a more strange, fruity type nose with some undertones of brown sugar, vanilla. There's a peculiar smell that I believe I recall smelling on the Old Forester 1920. I don't think I mentioned it before, but I can say for sure that at least on these 3 whiskeys, I haven't had a pour of these in probably a couple of months. And this one's probably been over a month, maybe 2 months that I've had one from. So it's not like I haven't had any of these recently. So I'm having really to go off of my memory of doing the review. Most of this whiskey I shared with other friends and stuff. So I've probably had maybe 2 to 3 pours of any one of them. And they were probably right around the time I did the review. So I definitely haven't had a taste of any of these whiskeys in quite a while. Yeah, from what I recall, this smells like the Old Forester 1920. Yeah, same stuff on the palate. The sweetness, the caramel, the brown sugar, a little fruity note. And the astringent-y kind of note. And I think that's what I remember being on this guy. All right, let's move on to the last one here after we take a sip of water. Oh, now, there's something that's similar between these 2. Deeper notes. Some woody character. Definitely some alcohol in the nose. Interesting. Now I'm a little confused. This one has some nuttiness on it. And I don't recall the others having nuttiness other than the Knob Creek, so that's kind of throwing me off a little bit as to between 2 and 4 which one the Knob Creek's going to be. This one definitely feels higher in alcohol. So maybe that's a little bit of a hint. I do recall when I reviewed them that the Knob Creek and the Elijah Craig, and probably because of the age on them at 12 and 13 years, were a bit smoother on the palate. God, it could be anything. Luckily I don't get embarrassed because I'm probably going to guess totally wrong on most of these. All right, so I'm going to give them one more run through, probably 4 back to 1. We'll decide which ones we are, and we'll do the reveal and see how I did. I don't know how this is going to work out. For those of you that watch my videos, I normally don't edit the review portion. But for this, if it runs long, I might have to chop some of it up just to save you guys some time. I don't want this video to be crazy long. So anyways, let's get back into the tasting here. I'm sticking with this. I've never done a tasting like this, side by side, quick hitting, going between the bunches of them, so this is very difficult. Normally when I do tastings, you do them, you have some time in between, you maybe have some crackers or something to clear your palate, so this is definitely tough. I would love to see if any of you want to take the challenge and do something similar. See how you fare. I can tell you for certain too, it's getting tougher to taste them. My tongue's getting a little bit tingly, a little bit numb. It's kind of overwhelmed by all the flavors, so I think my palate's getting a little bit fatigued because they're tasting a little bit different as I'm going back. All right. This one's got a great nose. Whew. Man. The other thing I got to take in consideration too is that I'm sure these whiskeys have changed since I reviewed them. Elijah Craig was my first review, and on the back I have all the dates that I opened them. So I opened this one the end of January, the beginning of February, the end of January. This one was, I believe, April, middle of April. So they've had some time to air out, oxygenate, and definitely change over time. And those of you that know whiskey know that once you got the bottles open, get some air time on them, they definitely change, which is why I'm going to be doing some re-reviews of these whiskeys at some point. And I'll get into how I'm doing that later, but I've got a whole plan I've done for that. And I'll be doing re-reviews, and we'll kind of talk about how they've changed over time and if they've improved, gotten better, or if you should be drinking the whiskey earlier on in its life, because there are whiskeys that airtime doesn't do well on them. They're better to drink freshly opened or closer to freshly opened. So we'll be doing that in the future. And I'm doing all this talking because I need a little bit of time for my palate to chill out so I can decipher between these two. For those of you that don't know, this is Elijah Craig batch C917 at 131 proof, and this is Stag Junior at 131.9 proof. So guessing the proof between these, if these in fact are both these whiskeys, is not going to be easy because they're the same proof essentially. They're half a percent alcohol away from each other. What's throwing me off is I'm getting some deep, rich, woody notes from the both of them. And the Elijah Craig's definitely older than the Stag is. I think the Stag is about somewhere in the ballpark of 8 years, even though it doesn't have an age statement. The Elijah Craig still has a 12-year age statement, so I should be getting some more woody characters off of this. And that's kind of what I'm trying to base this off of to decide which one I feel is which. Yep. I'm going to say and I'm not very confident on these two. But at this point, my tongue's numb and tasting them more is not going to help me out any. So let's do the reveal. So I said that number 4 was the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And in fact, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is number 4. I've got it right. Awesome. So I said the Stag Junior. I'll let you guys see. I don't know if you guys can see this. But Stag Junior, I said was number 1. And it is in fact, oh my gosh, number 1. To be honest with you, I think I got a little lucky on this. All right, everybody, I don't know what happened. My camera just cut off and stopped recording. I think there's a limit to the amount of time I can record straight, so that might have something to do with it, so I don't quite know where it stopped. I had just revealed that I got the Elijah Craig picked out, and the reason I kind of differentiated the two is the mouthfeel, the heat on the mouth, the way it built. It reminded me of the Elijah Craig, which is why I went that way. The flavor-wise, these two were closely similar. This one had a little more woody notes and that feeling on the mouth, which is why I decided to go with this. So I'm really stoked I got that right. I got the Stag Junior right. I believe I showed you that. If not, number 1 is Stag Junior. Number 1 here. So we got those right. That's a great start. Can I go 4 for 4? I feel like these two are the easier ones to pick out. So let's see what happened. I picked number 2 as the Knob Creek, and it is number 2. So we got them all right. Well, that's awesome. Makes me feel good about myself. And this is obviously number 3. All right, we got them all right. I thought I was going to have a much harder time with this. And I will say these two I felt pretty confident about right off. These two, obviously, as you saw, I had to take a few more tastes and see where I ended up on them. But it's really cool. And I think this one thing that maybe helped out a little bit is these are all from different distilleries. So Brown-Forman, Jim Beam, Buffalo Trace, and Heaven Hill. So the fact that they're from different distilleries probably helped with the differentiation of the flavors. You know, if you had 2 whiskeys that were from the same distillery, maybe were different ages or different proofs, that might be a little bit more difficult to do. And maybe in the future, we could do something like that. But I think this was a good test. Thank you so much to everyone who voted in the polls and picked out these whiskeys. I really appreciate you guys contributing to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down in the comments below, and then we can try to do something like this again in the future. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, even though my tongue is completely numb right now, and I don't know if I'll be able to taste anything for the next couple of hours. However, thank you so much for participating. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can send me an email at blindwhiskeyreviews, that's whiskey with an E, @gmail.com. And until next time, cheers.